What up, though? For those who are returning, welcome back. For those who are new, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Mean Grow Gang. This is your primary platform for informative tips related to both health, really primarily personal gardening. If you're interested in either of those topics and you're watching on YouTube or Instagram now, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. While you're there, hit the bell so you can receive notifications whenever I upload new, interesting content, right? I'm your host, Demetrius. It's my hope that by you continuing to follow along, at some point you too will develop a Mean Grow game. That's the whole point of me making these videos. Otherwise, what am I doing it for, right? So one of the things I like to do is dispel the myth that gardening is expensive, super scientific, super complicated. It's really no exact way to do any of these things, no matter who try to pawn themselves off as the expert and the guy who knows how to do it this way, that way, either do it this way or it's not gonna work. That's a bunch of BS, right? It's a million, zillion, trillion different factors that contribute to why a garden will be successful or not, whether it be the particular geographical location you live in, the climate, the time of year, the exact plant, the exact variety of the exact plant. It's a whole bunch of factors that contribute to the success or failure of a garden. Another thing you need to understand is that it's not always success or failure. You can have a garden that's doing good, but it might not be doing blooming, going crazy out of control. But it's not like either the plants are going to bloom and go crazy out of control or they're going to just all die. So you can still have a semi-successful garden without it being super successful, right? So something is better than nothing. A lot of these tips are not for the commercial grower, even though if you just magnified it and multiplied it, then you can apply it on a larger scale. But this is primarily for the novice, beginner, still trying to learn, still trying to get their feet up under them, gain their confidence, backyard, home gardener, right? Now that I got all that out the way, the purpose of this video is to show you another cost-effective tip that's virtually free on how you can create your own organic, natural fertilizer, right? You can always go to the big box store, buy the latest name brand, but you have to be careful when you're using that type of stuff because you have to use it in the proper quantities. You have to dilute it, follow the directions on the bottle. If you don't do that, then you run the risk of burning the plants and potentially killing them, right? So no matter what stage they are, just because the plant is already mature and healthy, you can still kill it off. It's not only applied to new plants. So you have to be careful at every stage of your gardening when you're applying any type of synthetic, non-organic chemicals. Basically, everything is a chemical, but we're talking about synthetic chemicals at this point. So if you're interested in any of this, follow along. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Let's go. All right, here we go. Back to my home away from home, Home Depot. This is where I keep my supplies. It's like my personal garage. It's normally 3 main ingredients that I use. And I'm out of one totally, and I'm low on the other 2. So I was going to grab all 3 while I'm here. After going around in circles, I finally found one. They didn't have the other 2. This is fish fertilizer. Excellent. If you don't have any, get you some. They didn't have the other 2, so I didn't feel like going to a different one. So now I'm back at the garden. I'm going to check on my compost bin. Here you see I have them doubled up. What I want to do is take the top one out and retrieve all of the liquid contents that was captured in the second one. So this is what it looks like when I fresh out of the capture bin. I want to put a screen on here so I can filter out some of the bugs and flies and leaves and debris and stuff that get in there that I don't want to necessarily put in my garden, even though it will break down as well. But Sometimes I might want to use this on indoor plants, even though I have a different setup that I use for that. But here I'm just running it through the second time. I use the double screen so I can get even finer. You see hardly anything came out that time. So this is it. It's ready to go. It's ready to use. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what you're after. This is nothing more than the runoff that comes from any type of composting bin that you set up. You're going to have runoff. So whether it be you're using a plastic tote, you're using a garbage can with hose, you have a tumbler, this is the liquid that drains out of the bottom. All right, so here's the second method. These are the actual contents of the compost bin that you saw me pull out of the top one in the first example. You see I still got a worm in here, a few critters, even though this has been sitting for like 6 months. So this is the scoop. It's a measuring cup. It just happened to be a measuring cup. I don't actually measure it. I just grab a scoop of whatever container, throw it in a bucket. Then I normally add some organic extra booster. So that's root tone, help with root growth. This helps with blossoming plants. Real good for that. This one here helps with getting the plants established. I normally use this on fresh transplants. So I use all three in varying degrees depending on what stage the plant is at in its life cycle. Again, here I just fill the bucket up with water, and it's ready to go straight out the bucket. I can cut this and cut it in half. So this is the Mother Nature, natural, nothing added, and this is my example. They look the same to me. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. If you learned nothing else, you should have learned the importance of starting a composting system, preferably a worm composting system. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Besides the actual contents itself, being able to add that finished compost to your garden, the second benefit is it gives you the compost tea, which is what I just demonstrated for you how to make. 2 different systems. One is just using the pure runoff itself, running it through some type of strainer a few times because, you know, bugs and other things do get in it, leaves and stuff that you might want to get rid of. The second system is using the actual worm castings themselves, putting them in a bucket, you know, filling it up with water, and then adding extra organic nutrients to that. Either way, it's good, and you know, it's definitely cheaper than just buying the brand name product of the same exact thing. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you know, hit the bell notification so you can receive an update every time I upload some new content. If you're interested in more content along these lines, that'll be a smart thing to do. And thanks for watching. Until next time, Mean Grow Gang.